Hello, you're watching my YouTube channel, and I'm your host kamranarshad. Today, I've invited a guest from my vlog, and I am gonna discuss his life, his visions, his goals, and most importantly, his fate. Hello and welcome. We are delighted to have Nelson Kisulu here today with us, and he is doing a great job. He is actually pursuing a career as IGCSE, as A level, and a career coach, and a teens mentor, right? So today we have invited him, and to kick off, Nelson, could you tell us what inspired you to pursue a career as IGCSE, as A level, O level, as a career coach, and what is about your journey? Could you share that?
Okay, okay. Thank you. First, I want to appreciate for inviting me to your YouTube channel to interview me, whereby I'm going to share about my story as an educator, my experiences as a. Just to start, like I was said, Nelson Mandela Kisilu, a Kenyan-based educator who is specialized in mathematics, business studies, economics, with over 6 years of experience teaching high school students and primary students. So I can say that I have experience in handling different types of students. So just to start with, in your question, whereby what inspired me, just to share my story on how I became a teacher. At first, I wanted to become an accountant, but the thought that an accountant I'm going to be working behind office, it never agreed well with me. So I was trying to think about a career whereby I'm going to inspire people, a career that's going to make me actively involved in mentoring people. Because I have that passionate with young ones. Then I was able to end up in this career of teaching, whereby I mentor young minds. I also inspire them. And back to your question about what inspired me about teaching the high level. So just like I said, I've had different level of education in mathematics. Just to share what inspires me, just the inspiration for me to be able to inspire.
Let me tell you one thing. Let me tell you, Nelson, one thing. What inspired me to invite you for this interview? Your name, Nelson Mandela Kisudo, right? When I reviewed your profile, so I definitely thought about Nelson Mandela. He was a great leader. He has done a lot of things for his nation, so I must appreciate him. So, do you know him? Can you share anything about him?
About Nelson Mandela? Okay.
Yeah.
Just okay.
What do you know about
I want
him?
to say that. So I know him about he inspired very many people, especially when he was in prison for so long. And what amazed many is when he came out of the prison, he was able to forgive all those who tormented him, all those who put him to prison. And most of the people do not think that it was a good idea, but it was a good idea because just like one person said, if you keep hating someone, hate cannot be able to solve the issues that are in place in any place. So he inspires me a lot, whereby
He
at any
inspired
time
a
you can
lot
be
of
able to
people.
change them.
Millions of people loves him because he has done a great job. And when he come out from the prison, and he said, "I will forgive all the people."
Yeah.
This is a great
Which I
thing,
don't think it will.
and it's very
It's not
difficult
something.
thing when someone comes to you and hurt you, and you said, "Don't worry."
Yeah, that's something inspiring.
Right. When people meet you, definitely they'll ask you about your name. That why did you choose this name?
Why did I choose the name? Okay, I mean, you say that I chose the name. The name Nelson Mandela was given by my dad, who was a great Pan-Africanist. He wished well for Africans, and he really loved African leaders who were visionaries, who had a great vision for Africa. Yeah.
All right.
It's a name I was given by my dad.
All right. All right, Nelson, how do you incorporate real world examples into your lessons to help IB students understand complex economic theories?
Okay, just to share about my teaching philosophy first, I do believe in learner-centered teaching methodology, whereby the learners are involved in all the processes. One thing that we need to understand, and most of the educators don't get it right, is that some of the things are not complex. It only needs the educator to be able to make them simple. It calls for the educator and the teachers to involve the student in solving some of the issues. Just like you have asked about how I make my learners to understand about some of the complex issues in economics. Economics is very easy. One thing that an economic teacher needs to make the learners understand is that economics has basic concepts, whereby all the other theories derive all those concepts. We have the concept about scarcity, we have the concept about making a choice, concept about efficiency of any economic maybe model, and among other concepts. So it calls for the teacher to ensure that it involves the learners to understand first the basic concepts so that they can be able to use those basic concepts to be able to solve some of the concepts that are thought to be complex. Just like, to use an example, a concept in economics like, let's say maybe something like elasticity. When you teach something like elasticity, it may be thought to be so difficult when you just tell them elasticity is this and this and this. So instead of just going directly, first lay foundation well so that the learners can be involved. For example, in teaching about the same concept about the elasticity, first make the learners understand about that. It's all about the behavior of consumers when different variables that affect maybe demand change. Something like price elasticity. Involve the learners, make them to be the consumers, ask them different questions. How are they going to behave in case maybe the price of a given commodity changes? And by sharing they end up understanding about the elasticity even before you tell them elasticity is. There is a model we call Socratic model, whereby ask them questions, whereby at the end of it, they found that they had the answers to the question that they were asked. Yeah.
All right, let's move on. What strategies do you use to help as level students overcome challenges in understanding the concept of elasticity in economics?
Come up again on the question. What?
I'm asking what strategies do you use to help as A-level students overcome challenges in understanding the concept of elasticity in economics? Because economics is a very tough subject, as I know about that subject, because I was a student in ninth standard when I definitely studied about economics, microeconomics, macroeconomics. So it's a very tough subject, right?
Okay, maybe the same question about how to help my students understand the
yeah,
concept
I'm asking about the strategies. Is there any strategies do you use to help them?
Oh, now the strategy is just like I've said. First, before you come to teach about elasticity, you must have taught about the law of demand. You must have taught about the graph curve,
Demand
the
and
supply
supply.
curve.
You're talking about the demand and supply law, right?
Yes, before you come to teach about the elasticity of demand, you must have introduced the concept about the demand curve, supply curve, among the others. So what the students have the knowledge about the demand curve, allow them, you can be able to come up with maybe data to enable the students to collect data. At the same time, they plot the demand curve. Once you enable them to demand curve, now you can be able to identify different points using diagrams for you to be able to identify what's going to be the change. For example, if price of a commodity changes from this to this, what's the responsiveness of maybe the price change with reference to the quantity demanded? So the only way is for you to be able to involve the students in coming up with first the graph. And once they come up with the graph, give them some question to ask them, like how much quantity demanded has changed when the price changed maybe from a given point to another one. Once they do that, they are going to determine that without knowing that they are learning about elasticity. Once you give them question using graphs, they'll be able to solve. And then thereafter you can be able to introduce the concept about what elasticity. You tell them what elasticity is. And because they were involved, then it's going to be very easy for them. And like telling them elasticity is this and this and this, it may become complex to them. There is a quote which says that when you involve the students, they understand better than when you just tell them.
All right. Nelson, how many students did you teach so far?
Sorry?
How many students did you teach so far?
I have taught, I may not be able to have the exact number, but I have handled different students.
Any
For
guess?
example, I was teaching from different, yes?
Any guess?
I may not be able to have a rough guess because like currently I'm handling maybe students at different levels. So some of them transition and others I'm still handling them. So I think that I've told, I may not be able to rough estimate. Yeah.
Okay.
But like I may be
right.
able to current like 300 students.
All right. Nelson, as a career coach, what steps do you take to help teenagers explore potential career paths, especially in mathematics, economics, or business studies?
So when it comes to career choice, it's a very delicate topic, especially when it comes to the young mind, the young ones, because some of them they have that mind about this is what I want to become. But now when it comes to reality, once they are done maybe with their education, they find that outside there it's very different. So one I first guide the students or the teenagers to first to identify their passion. What are they passionate in? Even if you're good in anything and you don't have passion in that area, then you're going to make you're not going to make a good professional in that area. Maybe just to give an example of one of the students I was dealing with, there was this student who was quite passionate. Okay, he was a bright student, but he never liked academics. For him, he had a passion in music. Unfortunately, the parents were not for that the passion of the student. They wanted him because maybe from their family, most of them were lawyers, others were nurses. So they wanted him to pursue a career that may lead to a profession like they saw something like something similar. Unfortunately for him, he was going to pursue music. And when in school, because like there was that defiance from home, no one was appreciating maybe his passion. He was not taking academics seriously to extend, even in exams, he will leave blank spaces, not because he knew, but because he was trying to send a message. Why can't you just listen to me? So when I joined that school, I became his class teacher, and most of the teachers were complaining about he's a bright student, but he's not taking academics seriously. So I wanted to have a journey with him. The first time I had a talk with him, I wanted to understand him why he was so defiant to the teachers. And he narrated to me about how it happens at home. The parents are not supporting him, and even in school they are so strict that they want him to focus with academics. So I had a discussion with him why, despite the fact that he's passionate in music, that he needs to balance, because at the moment, this is the time that you need to be in school. So we talked about and why he needs to respect teachers. He was able to change and he started respecting teachers. I had a conversation with the parents whereby I had a conversation with the boy first, then I talked to the parents that they just need to support him and show him love, and he was going to change. That boy started to change and he started taking academics seriously. He was doing the local system and he ended up scoring an A minus. After scoring an A minus, he joined university. He went to pursue bachelor's degree in business management. But at the same time, before he was able to finish Form 4, I had a talk with their parents, and then they started supporting him in his music. By the time he was in second year, right now he's in third year. Through the support of the parents, he had started a music production company, whereby he has employed other people at the same time. He is pursuing a degree in business management. So through the talk I had with him why he needs to take academics seriously and at the same time pursue his career, he was able to see the other side of the world. That despite the fact that he has passion in music, he also needs to take academics seriously because that information may be useful in the future. So for the teenagers nowadays, most of them, they have a fixed mind, and you as a mentor, you just need to help them understand the two sides of the world for them to be able to view the world in reality.
All right. Can you share an example of how you've used mentoring to help a student improve their study habits and, most importantly, achieve better results in A-level mathematics?
When it comes to mathematics, like in most of the students I handle, some of them have that bad attitude towards mathematics. And once a student has a bad attitude towards the subject, then definitely the performance will go down, not because the student is not good in mathematics, but because of their attitude. So at any time when I start teaching a class, the first thing I inculcate to my students is to develop that positive attitude towards the subject. How do they develop a positive attitude towards the subject? At the same time, I always ensure that I understand my student because some other teachers may be the reason why the student ate the subject. Depending on the way they teach. One person said that if the learners cannot learn the way we teach, then we need to teach them the way they learn. So if you don't understand the way they learn, then you cannot be able to capture for everyone or for every learner in the class. We talk about differentiating. You need to understand about your learners. You need to understand that in a class, you have the kinesthetic, those who learn by doing activity. At the same time, we have those, they learn by seeing maybe diagrams. So you need to involve all those things to ensure that you're going to cater for everything in a class. And once you ensure that you differentiate your lesson, then it will be easy for the learner to get involved. The lesson will be so engaging, it will be lively to them, and it will be easy for them to follow. And once a lesson is involving, there is joy of learning in the class, then I can assure you learning will take place. So the first thing, understand your student, differentiate your lessons, and ensure that you meet every learner's need by learning the way they learn.
Nelson, how do you encourage teenagers to develop their skills and interests beyond academic subjects like mathematics and economics?
So to develop passions, like first, just like you need to come up with different ways. You can come up with project. Once you give them project, it will enable them to think more about the topic that you're learning. At the same time, you can also identify their passion and inspire them to find something more on that outside the school. For instance, I teach business studies, and there is this class whereby I have some girls who like crocheting. They like crochet whereby they can make things. So I challenge them, why can't you take this as a business opportunity? During your free time, you can be able to crochet and then you can be able to sell those things. If we talk, they start of crocheting, and whatever they make, they are able to sell to their fellow students, and they also sell to students at home. From inspiration that I gave to them.
All right.
So just ensure that about their passion, what do they like doing during their free time? At the same time, you can challenge them for them to be able to think about beyond just a hobby. For example, like
Nelson, what advice would you give to a student who is struggling to decide between pursuing a career in economics or business studies after finishing their A levels?
So once the student are done with their A level,
time and a student have to decide about their careers, right? So definitely it depends on a teacher why he will suggest them. So what kind of advice will you give to the student who is struggling to decide between the subjects, economics or business studies?
So, okay, when it comes to a career, there are a lot of things that you need to consider before you can be able to decide this is what I'm going to pursue after maybe A level or at advanced level. Some of the factors that you need to consider is, what are you passionate in? Your passion. Are you passionate in career that you want to pursue. If you don't have a passion, then just like I said, you won't be able to make a good profession. First, consider about your passion. At the same time, you also need to the background. There are some careers that need a lot of support, maybe financial support. Can your family afford? If they cannot afford, are there some other areas that you can be able to look for funds? That's another factor that you need to consider. At the same time, you need to pursue that career. Is it because you are after maybe you just want to get a job? So if you are pursuing a career that at the end of it, you are pursuing a career just to get a job, then you also need to consider about the marketability of the career. Is the career marketable? Are there job opportunities? If there are no job opportunities, are you going to pursue a career that you're not likely to get a job? So I take my learners through some of those factors that they need to consider. I don't decide for them, but I just provide information that enables them to decide on their own, lest when they choose a career, they see that it was Teacher Nelson who told me to choose this. But I provide useful information for them to be able to make informed decision. And that one may be able to vary from one student to another. For example, there was this student whereby the background was the parents, they had several companies, they had businesses to run. So this student was not going to school. So for him, his father wanted him to come and manage the companies after him. So for him, he had passion in music, but at the same time was trying to figure out, should I do a business-related course or should I go with my passion in music? So he was able to enroll in a business and business management degree, but at the same time, because he was also passionate in music, he enrolled for music as a small course.
All right, Nelson, thank you so much for joining us today. It was a wonderful having you here and definitely learning from your experiences. But before to wrap up, is there anything you would like to share with our audience or any message you would like to share?
So first, I want to appreciate you for welcoming to your YouTube channel to share my experiences. Just like I said, as a teacher, ours is just to inspire. And I call upon all the educators everywhere to ensure that they need to remember that the lives of the learners depend on them. They hold the future of many young ones, and they need to take their career very seriously for them to be able to do their best. And I also want to call upon the other people to support the teachers as they make change in this world. Thank you.
Thank you once again. Have a blessed day, Nelson.
Most welcomed.
Take care. Goodbye.
Okay, bye.